Oh, well, hello there, and welcome to Frank Reads. I'm Frank Hazemuller, and I've been reading some of my favorite stories lately, and I thought I'd share them with you. I enjoy them, and I hope you will too. Today we are going to be reading a story from African Myths and Folktales by Carter Godwin Woodson. Now, Carter Godwin Woodson is a very important figure in African American studies. He was one of the first scholars to really seriously study not only African myths, as you can see here, but also just stories from Black Americans. And he lived in the early 20th century, so there wasn't a whole lot of that. There wasn't a whole lot of scholarly interest in the Black experience at the time. And so his numerous books are very invaluable, especially 100 years later. And he established one of the first societies for studying African American life and history, and he also founded what he called Negro History Week, which eventually became Black History Month. And he's a very important figure, and I kind of wish he wasn't so obscure. But one of the many books he wrote was this one, African Myths and Folktales, and it is exactly what it sounds like, a collection of African myths. And unfortunately, he does not specify which region of Africa the stories come from, which is kind of a shame because Africa is a very large and very diverse place, much more diverse than most people seem to realize. And this book was first published in 1928. And I figure a good place to start is at the beginning, literally, with a creation story. And it is called, appropriately enough, Creation. At first there was no earth. There was oaken the ocean, stretching over all things. Above the ocean was Aloran, the sky. Oaken and Aloran contained all, and possessed all things that there were. Aloran had 2 sons. The elder's name was Orisha. The name of the younger son was Odujua. They were living together in the sky. Aloran called Orisha to him. He gave him a handful of earth and a hen with 5 claws. Aloran said to him, "Go down and make land upon Oaken the ocean." Orisha went. On the way he found some palm wine. He drank some of it and became drunk. Then he fell asleep. Aloran saw this. He then called Odujua and said to him, "Thy elder brother has become drunk on his way below and has fallen asleep. Go thou, take this handful of earth and the hen with 5 claws, and make land upon Oaken." Odujua went. He took the handful of earth. He went down and laid it on the ocean. He put the hen with 5 claws on it. The hen began to scratch and spread the handful of earth about and forced the water aside. Much land then appeared. The ocean grew less and less at this place, and ran away through a small hole. From this small hole came holy water. This was the source of the holy river, the water of which heals and never fails. Now Orisha was very angry because he himself had not created the earth. He and his brother fought for a long time, and they both went underground and were never seen again. Well, there you go. There is the story of creation from African Myths and Folktales by Carter Godwin Woodson. It's interesting because it actually shares a lot of the same motifs and archetypes that you find in creation stories from throughout the world. Many creation stories begin with a primordial ocean from which the earth emerges, or in this case, it was built. And so that's kind of an interesting thing. And it also has, two brothers fighting, and it kind of ends in a very curious way. The two brothers fighting and then going underground and then never being seen again. That kind of fraternal conflict reminds me of Romulus and Remus from Roman mythology, or Cain and Abel from the Bible. And you see that kind of fraternal conflict reoccurring throughout mythologies. But because these stories were from Africa, and because Africa is where humanity itself evolved, and even though this book was first written in 1928, there is a very good chance that these stories are some of the oldest ever told. And they very well could predate Romulus and Remus and the Bible and all of these other mythologies. So it's very interesting to go back and read them. And it's also interesting to compare them to others. And we are very fortunate that Carter Woodson went to the trouble of collecting and writing and publishing these stories. Well, I hope you enjoyed that one. I know I did. And I hope you will join me next time. And until then, keep reading.